In without Andy. Go.
Oh, don't do that.
It's already live, you idiot.
Tony, just because you are whispering doesn't mean that I can't hear you. They are wireless headphones. Hello, everybody. What a great way to start the show. Over to you. I can hear.
Who's got it on in the background?
Does Jack not even realise we're live?
It's just walked off.
He's just got no idea, has he?
I look so pale. That is ridiculous.
I can hear myself. Someone's playing the thing somewhere.
I don't think it's me.
Not me.
So
normal calamity start.
I'm sure this is riveting entertainment.
I do. I left my laptop on with the show running.
There you go. It was him.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Nice feedback loop there.
Oh dear, I love Ed typed in the chat, amazing, and that pretty much sums up that start.
I might as well. Hang on, ready?
Whoa! Copyright strike, Jack.
No, it's less than 9 seconds. It's fine. This might be the last show where there's only penises, thanks to Tony. Right, tonight you're listening to another wonderful episode of Let's Reunite.
What? What's it called again?
Try again.
You had to go at Tony for not being able to say the actual name. Now you can't say it. You've forgotten. What did Tony call it? He called it LOD or something like that.
Yes, let's drone oit.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Drone Oit. And tonight we are joined by Andrew / Frank.
Hello.
Gary RC.
Good evening, everybody.
The other side of the moon, NJ Tech.
Oh, I like that. That could stick. Hello.
What other side of the moon? I don't.
Dark side of the moon.
Yep.
Which is the side with all the craters in, incidentally. Let's not go there. But anyway.
I don't get the reference.
Dark side of the moon.
Pink Floyd.
Musical.
Pink Floyd. What's the connection though? NJ likes Pink Floyd.
Direction. Look at his camera angle. You're looking at a different side of his face. And he's a musician. Happy birthday, by the way.
I thought it was because he was dark.
Happy birthday.
No, that's racist.
NJ's face is so symmetrical that you would not tell that he had switched it. Me, when I look at my face, not in the mirror, it's frightening.
A man in the mirror. Sorry. Mind you can't bring him up anymore, isn't he? Because he's a wrong one. My little pony, speaking of wrong one
already.
Oh, sure.
Who's a wrong gun?
Michael Jackson, isn't he?
Well, they always do this when they're dead, don't they?
And in desperate need of a disclaimer, Curry Kitten, please read out the disclaimer.
Hello. Any views expressed by any guests on this show are personal and may not reflect the views of the host. Also, ignore the views of the host because they're all idiots.
That is brilliant.
And I'm Brian to Life Line. You're listening to Let's Drone Out. Welcome to Let's Drone Out Fan Club.
Yay.
And also, I just like to point out that for anyone who is upset by the fact that Rotor Riot changed their name of their group on Facebook, don't worry about us because we don't know how that works unless Frank does it.
Should we do that? Should we do Let's Drone Out Fan Club?
No. I never thought I'd live in a world where Rotor Riot, in my personal opinion, was the big highlight of the hobby, almost running out of money, and then everyone kind of having a massive hissy fit because I thought everyone loved Rotor Riot.
Does somebody want to read out what Fraser Steen has said about me in the chat? I'm not going to say it.
I don't think that was about you.
No,
I can read out Batwoman. FPV said, "Yay, all the lads back." Now it feels like LDO. That's quite good. Thank you.
At Andy RC back, hooray! And then I'm not reading the rest, but thank you very much.
Stay off Tug Oh, oh, that was an editing nightmare.
Ed Bruce Radcliffe in the chat saying he's getting laughed and odd looks laughing on the train. Hello, Ed.
Jerry, that was for you. I hope you enjoyed the fact that I called Andy RC Gary.
What are we going to change if we were to change the name? What would we change it to? Like LDO Intervention Group or
no? I thought
something
about
dyslexic.
LDO Tolerance.
I think therapy has to be involved in the name somewhere.
Yeah, you need it after watching the show,
or some kind of illness. You know, like make it sound like an illness, like a growth or something.
Yeah, audience support group.
I have to say though,
that's a good point, Frank.
When I was getting better, I was watching the show obviously without me, and it was just superb. They made it's such a good show to just watch and enjoy.
My butthole was definitely not as clenched as it is when you're on the show.
Why?
I miss Andy. Don't every time you open your mouth, Jack, he never comes on. So if I'm only going to be on from now on if Andy's on. That's it.
That's not the reason why I wasn't on. I've been like really sick, which I don't want to get into because I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah, that's sore neck.
From making like a circus seal, I've heard.
Well, you see, to explain it briefly, a year ago, I reviewed the P4, and I always fly them line of sight. Especially when you're going so high up, and I was fine. So this new drone came out, the Fimi X8 SE, which is like a really cheap, not like nice version, bit like the Mavic, and it actually flies for 33 minutes. It really does as well, which is amazing. However, this time I was sort of looking up at it line of sight, but sort of more in a kind of Matrix style pose.
Upside down?
Well, no, in the Matrix when he's like dodging the bullets,
like that?
Backwards. Well, that's how I was looking up at it, but for 33 minutes. And then the next day I couldn't move or get out of bed, and I couldn't for 2 weeks. And my friend Chris said, because he's sarcastic, he said, "What's new?" Because I couldn't get out of bed. But anyways, there you go.
Well, I've missed you on the show. I'm glad you're back.
I've missed
3 weeks. 3 weeks you've not been here.
I know, it's been mad. Yeah, it's been absolutely mad. But yeah, getting better.
You could have actually done it from your bed.
Nobody wants to see that, honestly.
No, instead of just seeing quads on the bed sheet, it'd be like quads on Andy, and it'd be like his hand saying, "Here it is," and there'd just be this lump in the bed, which is your leg,
or his penis.
I mean, I don't want to get grim or anything like that, but I literally couldn't leave the bed, so I was not in a, I mean, I don't find myself in a presentable state even now. So imagine, what I must have looked like, not able to get out of bed, not able to have a shower.
Well, look in the chat. Look. Richard Warwick says he misses Andy. Andy's his favourite. Dave Story says we all miss Andy. So everyone missed you, mate.
Do you know what? I know because everybody sent me messages and it was lovely. So thank you so much. And yeah, glad to be back on the mend and trying to figure out how to do reviews a bit differently as well at the same time. Because obviously, when you get older, things start to break, it seems. You get to a point of no return.
Is this a dig at NJ for looking still good and being 40 plus?
I want to ask NJ, are there any hidden things going on? Like, have you got like a disc in your back that needs replacing and stuff, just to make me feel better?
Actually, no. I've had like all my bad injuries. I had quite young. I did actually manage to put my back out. I've got a perforated disc in my lower back.
Ooh.
Pumping somewhere.
No, it's the most pathetic story ever. But I can't have been much more than about 23, 24, and I was
definitely humping someone.
I was shaving over the sink, and I sneezed. And the next thing I know,
a sneeze.
It was a sneeze. And the next thing I know, I was on the floor going, "What am I doing on the floor?" And I realised I'd like fully.
It's always a sneeze, isn't it?
Yeah, bizarre. But yeah, so
wrestlers who break their neck without realising, and they're like, if you'd sneezed, you would have been paralysed.
Somebody said that at the weekend to me that they had exactly the same thing, a sneeze. Yeah,
it's pretty un-rock and roll.
Lee Evans says that. He says sneezing is worse than drink driving.
Did you ever hear that thing in school when they said that?
Or bees in the car.
They said a sneeze is something like a quarter of an orgasm or something like that.
It does. I do like sneezing. It does feel nice.
So what I do is, like, you know, when I'm with somebody, I get some pepper on the side of the bed.
Do I need to read the disclaimer again?
I get some pepper on the side of the bed.
Right, then, ready? This is how you make Let's Drone Out good. Andrew / Frank, NJ, have a conversation.
I want to hear. I want the tricks of the trade.
Shut up, Tony.
Andy's bedroom.
So you get the pepper, and just as
is
you're
it
about,
white? Is the pepper
just
white?
Him, please.
The colour doesn't.
I've got control.
I'm glad Andy's back.
The colour.
What have we
doesn't
talked
matter.
about drones yet? It's like it's 15:15.
Anyways,
no, I don't think we have. But
there was mention of someone got a Cinewhoop, and Tony was jealous.
Well, leading neatly on.
Let's talk about drones.
And pepper off girls, and I can't get it out of my head now.
I'm glad. What I'm glad about that is you saw where it was going.
Just mute it.
I don't need to explain the end.
Imagine it off of Jack, and then that'll get that image out your head.
Yeah, but you'd still have the jugs.
See, you guys. Do you know what? Like, you have a go.
Doesn't make you any thinner, Tony.
I'm not. I'm just like stating a fact, Jack, and you know, it's fine.
You have a go at me, and then you say way worse things than me.
Jack's horrible to me. I just get my own back with a bra jokes and booby jokes when I can. It's only fair.
What's this? What Andy's saying here in the chat? Andy, can you explain what that is?
Well, first I'll say Mr. Fruity Cakes in the chat, because I wanted to say that.
We love fruity cakes.
Sneezing in the UK causes storms in the US. That's a butterfly effect.
But Mr. Fruity Cakes asks, who are we setting fire to tonight?
Not me, because my lighter's still run out. I haven't bought another one. So if we donate, you're setting fire to Jack. But next week, I will buy some more
because they're not a vagina.
I'm buying more fireworks and a lighter next week, so we can have a competition.
I ask you, I give you simple tasks.
Oh, yeah, but I never listen to you. If Frank told me to it, I'd go out there now and do it. I'd leave the show and walk there. Yes, Gary, I'm having a drink. That's Gary Squire in the chat, everyone.
I've done that for you, buddy.
I missed the whole Gary inside joke thing, but Jack told me to introduce myself as Gary RC, so I did. So, but I need to go back and watch a couple that I wasn't able to watch. But
I don't know what to do about editing that episode. I don't know whether to remove the first bit and then just have the train wreck, or just let it all be bad. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Any feedback? No.
Let us know in the chat. There's also very, very recently, as in within the past hour, been a post up on the Team Final Rush Facebook page. This is a FPV race team in the UK.
Damn, are we talking about drones and stuff?
I'm trying.
Okay.
So this was Richard Brolin's team. So Matt Evans, Leo Whitfield, John Smokey, Warren Jeffs. So I'm Sunday on all the social media, and Alfie Mitchell, who's Moment FPV on all the social media. They are now breaking up as a team.
Disbanding.
Yeah.
7 hours ago on Facebook, there was a post from Leo saying he was leaving Final Rush to do his own thing, and then maybe saw it coming for 7 hours later or less than that.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's quite sad because that's quite a big set of names in the UK racing scene. Kind of, I feel fairly confident in saying they're up there with all the global reach of X-Blades. So to give more people an idea.
Did they give a reason at all?
Yeah, they're all in X-Blades. Because X-Blades have 10 million people.
X-Blades has that many people. They just grow and grow.
They do. No, I don't know. They haven't, have they?
No, they've just been very, very professional about it and just said that they're announcing the end of it. So,
yeah, Alfie Mitchell got sponsorship, and I think probably Leo did because he done well. I think that both of them went and done a. Did they do the Swatch tryouts? Am I making things up or not?
I don't know.
I think they both went over there and got really good. So, good luck to them.
I think as well. I think there's getting less interest in racing than there's ever been, and more interest now in freestyle.
Yeah.
Because it's just something that you can do, and there's no pressure, and it's just fun. And I guess when you're at the top end of racing, it cannot be fun. When I watch those guys, I think, oh God, if that was me, I'd be stressed to the max, kind of thing. And it's meant to be of a hobby, essentially, isn't it? In the end, and
some people love the competitive nature of it and trying to get the best lines they can. It's quite interesting. I was talking to someone who does racing, and they actually, I mean, he's probably the minority, but he said, I don't like freestyle because then I have to decide where to go myself. He liked literally racing down the lines and knowing where he had to go, and then trying to get faster and faster on the same track.
I wonder if it pays a dominatrix, like, we'll clean the toilet. He gets off on that.
See, I can't say Pepper, but Jack can talk about dominatrix. Well,
it's where you were going with the story.
I think a major problem of
finish your story then.
The show, in the same way, is the reason that we have this disclaimer is that anyone can say whatever they want. The problem is that maybe they shouldn't. Just because Jack does say something doesn't mean that it's the right thing to say.
Doesn't mean we support him or agree with his views. Almost always we don't.
All I was going to say is that afterwards I make a nice omelette and pour a bit of pepper over it. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
There you go.
You're speaking as a vegan, are you? There's nothing wrong with that.
I think the pepper bit I'd eat. Gary says... I think he missed the bit of Andy RC saying whatever you need to say about Gary. So if we all be quiet, Gary can use this and put it in his Tranus if you say whatever you need to say. Andy, now go.
What? I don't understand any of that.
Tony wants you to say, hello, I'm Gary RC.
Oh, but the way that I say it on my channel.
Exactly.
Maybe. So then Gary can put that on his Tranus if needs be. And yeah, go.
So I would say, hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Gary RC, and today I'm on Let's Drone Out.
There you go, Gary. You can put that on your Tranus if you want. Please send some money to Burn Jack.
Can we talk about... slightly on topic, Rotor Right briefly, and say how did they almost run out of money? Because what I keep getting from the disgruntled people that leave is they never seem to be getting any money from it. They don't earn anything. So
probably their warranty service on their motors.
Oh, Chad, funny enough, I found this video and it was really odd actually, because it was somebody who had a very low number of subscribers. He did a chat with Chad, and I think I think it was somebody who made a video that said Rotor Riot are bankrupt, and Chad wanted to respond, and he did an interview with him. So if you go, I can't. This is useless because I can't remember the name. But basically, Chad explained why it was running out of money, and basically it was. I think it was to do with the fact that the products that they were releasing was paying for basically the videos, and it was just sort of breaking even kind of thing. So they've teamed up with Race Day Quads, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I have.
And so Race Day Quads are like I think one of the biggest US like quad retailers. So that's what I got. But I was on a lot of painkillers when I watched it. So again, read out the disclaimer about, you know, I'm only, this is at the back of my mind of on a lot of
in the chat, Plain Crazy FPV saying the store sucks them down, and as soon as you get in as soon as you start having about physical inventory and keeping stock and getting the logistics of sending stuff to people.
Oh no, Curry's started.
It's a bad thing. What have I started?
What? Curry started?
Oh no. Inbox, outbox. If it's not 0.
What?
It's a little little thing they are playing. They've stopped
it has
gay
no
farming.
sexual orientation.
There's nothing gay
They've
about
stopped
it.
gay farming, and now they're
bigot. Crawley bigot.
outboxing.
God, you just need. I mean, I get it. Boots and braces don't make you a racist, but goddamn, Tony.
We were playing a fun game last night on Twitch. I found it fun.
I've
almost murdered Jack by making him watch it. Cool.
Oh, it wasn't that bloody paperclip thing.
No, it was called
even better.
Human Resource. Hang on, I forgot what's the name. The Human Resource Machine or something. And it's basically a programming game, and it sort of ramps up in difficulty quite hard. And after about level 5, Jack had turned to like wibbly wobbly stuff, and his brain could not function anymore.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like you're doing a job. Like, you know, we've got that much spare time that we're actually doing jobs for people. In fact, I know NJ's just got the Oculus.
Thanks, Jerry.
There's a game called Job Simulator, and you have to pay for this, and it's basically just doing, you know, mundane jobs and stuff. And I'm like, what world are we living in?
Is that the Office Simulator, the VR one?
I think it's just called Job.
That's really good.
How is it good?
It's really good.
You put goggles on to do Office Simulator.
What happens if you're really disabled?
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean? That would be quite fun.
Well, you see, all this is from people who obviously haven't played the game.
Yeah.
But if you get...
Is it Office Simulator? There's loads of birds bending over.
Have you also
paper or something?
Tony's Office Sexual Harassment Simulator.
Do not support these views.
Which also exists, by the way, but I won't tell you the name of it.
Can I?
This live stream with Tony and his goggles, just like. You'll go far in this office.
If it was a real if it was a real Office Simulator, everybody would hate each other, and then your best friend would come up to you and tell you that he was on more money than you, even though you're doing the same job. And then
Andy's sleeping with your girlfriend behind your back.
Yeah.
No offense, NJ, but you are really sexy.
Right, talking of NJ, can you bring?
No. Hang on. Can I pull a pin out of a grenade
Quickly?
Right, sure. Just after that conversation, right? I'd let you. Let this dwell on you, right, Tony? We have a friend of the show, right, who you've invited to be a host on, right? And after that conversation, you know, primary school tutor, we just pretend to be, we're on our best behaviour, and this is what we're really like.
I know. Well, she knows what she... I might have let slip there. Something's happening next week. We have a new host. But that's all I'm going to say about it. I'm going to ask NJ to bring the show back to a bit of normality and tell us some stuff. NJ, bring it back to normal.
But I'm not sure.
Not normal.
Yeah, because normal
is
talking
bad.
about quads is now not the normal.
Yeah.
So
bring us back.
Let's do something different and talk about quads. Okay, I have something interesting that turned up yesterday or the day before, which is the new offering by iFlight. This is their offering in the world of Cinewhoops, and this is called the Cine B. So it's a little bit tiny leader looking, if I'm honest. It's got
it's different already because it looks like the battery mounts on top, which is completely unheard of.
Which is a great idea, I think. And this has the turtles in it, which is all housed on the underside there.
Turtles all the way down.
And yeah, there's kind of a little TPU mount there for the antennas, and the weight's pretty reasonable. A nice mix of carbon and plastic.
Interesting. The back motor's closer together than the front, like the tiny leader as well.
That was what made me think of it, and the layout's a little bit tiny leader-ish, but it's beautifully put together.
Yeah, that's one of the best flying ones. I've actually got this as well, but yeah, I'm so far behind with my videos because like 3 weeks. But yeah, I've got that thing. It looks pretty cool. Does it have the glass lens on the Cadex now?
I'm not entirely sure, but I have test flown it, and there is absolutely no jello, and it is a Turtles V2.
So it's not the jello that the glass is there for. People, they're getting scratched really easily.
Oh right, yeah, I did hear that.
So yeah. is that flying jello free with their setup?
Yeah, this is absolutely no jello. At the minute, it's only up to 3S, but bear in mind it's pretty small. 3S is actually plenty of voltage to have fun on this. And it comes with a whole bunch of it's a really comprehensive kit. It came with spare motors, spare ducts, different sets of props, actual different design props. I had the gem fans. These are the HQ quad blades, which I'm yet to try, but I've been told by Mr. Zing that they're very, very good. So I'm looking forward to giving that a go. But it's nice. The physical side of this is nice.
I thought it came with the racecraft props. Am I wrong? Or have you switched them?
I think they were gem fans that were in there initially, but I've now switched them out because Patrick actually said to me that they don't fly that great. Put the HQs on there, so I thought it flew fine, and I'm now switching to the HQs, and I'm gonna give that a go. Have you seen Patrick fly? He's actually a really good pilot.
I haven't.
HD?
Yeah, he's good.
HD.
Yes, that's got the turtles in. That's fully HD. So I mean, for instance, the other one, this is called the Cine B by iFlight. So this guy's coming. The other one that has turned up, which everyone kind of knows about, and obviously Andy's done a review on, is the Mobular HD, which has probably had a few refinements. And
I wouldn't turn up as well.
Yeah, Harry's got his. And you can see that it gives you an idea of size. So this is both of these I'm hoping for good things. They've managed to keep this light again, which gives me the most promise for not having that yaw washout problem.
Yeah, I was going to say the iFlight, just eyeballing it when you hold them up, looks a little bit more substantial.
Yeah, in terms of it's kind of how solid it feels. Let me just put them straight up in front of the camera there again. You can see, definitely see there's more of a, because it's got the nice mix of carbon in there, it feels like a really solid structure, but there is more weight with that. And the only problem that I found is with these Cinewhoops, they're great in terms of like close proxy and close acro, they do really well. But as soon as the weight goes up, when you start flying them fast and doing big maneuvers, that's when you'll start bringing out your washout. So that's where this one will probably fare better, because it's one of the lightest of the Cinewhoops. But I'm not, I think you can still get them all to your washout.
You don't really want to do big shit stuff, do you? Really?
I guess so. It depends how you want to fly it, because that's really what matters with these things, is what they are to you. Because for me, I want them to do acro in really tight spaces and have some fun sort of doing the proxy stuff. But if I'm going to do that, I want something that's not going to wash out on me too much. But at the same time, yeah, I think the problem is people will take these out into massive spaces and just think they're going to have a 5-inch experience with them. You're really not. I don't think there are many that are going to give you that.
No, I think they're definitely, it's proximity, in close proximity they're good for, and that's when you get that real feeling of speed. If you take it out to a big field, it sort of just feels like it's dragging along, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah, and I think the only one that's kind of between those two, and I know you said earlier you received yours, Curry Kitten, was the Beta FPV 85X. So that guy, that really does do the big stuff well on 4S. That's pretty good fun. That's probably one of my favorites. This is the one that my first one got run over by a tractor.
Well, that's a good video.
That is a good
video. What battery are you running on that, NJ?
So it comes with a 3S 300 milliamp battery.
300.
I don't think it comes with it. I think they sent those out to reviewers to deter them from using 4S. I'm not sure it comes with it. I could be wrong.
Well, this one was. I was told this was a retail pack because it came from Banggood. So I think that one. Maybe there's options for it on Banggood. I haven't actually looked to check. But it's quite specific. Which one are we talking about? The Mobula or the? I've completely lost where I am.
No, I was talking about the Beta 8. Oh, so
that one comes with a 300 3S, 300 milliamp 3S.
The Mobula 7, yeah.
The Mobula did. This one, sorry, this didn't come with a battery, but I have run around 300 milliamps. Again, you just want to keep it as light as possible. You start adding weight.
I thought you were talking about the Beta 85X comes with a battery.
So no, that doesn't. That was just for reviewers. Right. You're right on that one. Oh, yeah. And that one, on 4S, I'm using 2S 300 milliamp nanotechs, and that works just super well. It's flying so nicely. But the one they sent us, because they kind of want you to stick to 3S because they're worried about blowing up ESCs again, is a Tattoo 450 3S, I think.
Yeah, it's a 450 3S.
I think that's too heavy. I would go for a 350 3S on that, and you'll have much better tracking, less sort of washout problems.
Yeah, I found it very sluggish on 3S for the brief time that I flew it, which is why you probably didn't see the video because it was way too long. I made a video of all the stuff that has been building up, and I mentioned that Beta FPV had sent me the 85X, and I mentioned you and I linked to you in hope that you'll give me your PIDs so that I could try it on.
Magic PIDs. Well, yeah, I was saying, I talked about this before, but Nate and I, Mr. Shutterbug, independently tuned and came up with almost identical PIDs on that, and they were so much lower than the ones that were included as stock, and I think that was definitely one of the issues. But in terms of the forward speed of that, there is a Thingiverse file for the 85X that you can print, which will give you more headroom, because you'll notice this with yours, Curry, although it looks like it can be angled, that camera's at a fixed it's at a fixed angle. You can't actually adjust it, and as soon as you get it outside, it will feel sluggish because you need to tilt the camera up a bit more.
Yeah, I noticed it had some sort of. I've barely looked at it because I was literally working on something else today. The two packages arrive in 15 minutes of each other, and it's like great. You wait ages for a Cinewhoop, but two arrive at once. But I did see it looks like it would be movable, but you're saying it's not.
No, I've
so you've got essentially a max speed unless you just want to stare at grass.
The thing is, though, NJ, is you love a high camera angle, and I fly like what it says on Curry Kitten's t-shirt. So most of the time, so I actually found the camera angle fine, actually.
Well, that's what they're supposed to be used for, aren't they? Like I keep seeing people posting stuff of Cinewhoops, and they're doing mad flips over trees like you would do with a 5-inch. Like that's not what I think they're used for. I
think it's all about finding what they can be used for and seeing what they're good at.
It's really divided the community, because when they first came out, I said I don't really know what these power whoops are for. They're too powerful for indoors, and they're not powerful enough outdoors. And if you fly them like a 5-inch, they start doing really high maintenance maneuvers to
and
get out of.
And they're not good at it. They're not good at it. You might as well just do your 5-inch stuff with your GoPro on and do all that. But Cinewhoops are made for cinematic, slow moves.
They've got a huge fan base, right? So I got a lot of backlash when I said I don't know what these things are for. But there are people that just want to fly them in a straight line because, you know, they get decent HD footage. They want to fly them slowly, not quickly.
Yeah, that's
and if you do that, you don't get the yaw washouts. If you don't do a roll, you don't get crazy maneuvers. And so that was the feedback that I got. So trying to take out my sort of reasons and, you know, not understanding it, the people told me that you're doing acro with it. You shouldn't be doing, you know.
I mean, the thing is, it's now the new craze because these are arriving like every other day. I'm getting a new one of these up.
Can you guys want someone give me one? Because I
could probably sort you out with something.
I want to do something like cinematic with one.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can do the cinematic thing. I think I'm kind of in agreement with Nate on this because we both like acroing those Cinewhoops, and the 85X, I haven't done my video on it yet, but I have been slowly getting through recording my footage with it on 4S especially, and I'm doing inverted yaw spins, all kinds of really great maneuvers. It's tracking, it's holding it, and it's HD freestyling, something that fits in the palm of your hand. And there is always going to be an appeal for certain people for something like that. The props are guarded. You have to be as worried about where you fly it.
Yeah.
So there's lots, the idea of bringing it freestyle somewhere and not have to worry about what you're doing with it.
It'd be nice to hit gaps that are small that you can't get through a 5-inch.
Exactly. It's everything to all people. Let me just quickly answer. Someone did ask about what the yaw washout is. So on these whoops, basically anything with a ducted prop, as you go into a dive at quite high speed, what happens is as you level out, it will actually yaw. So basically the yaw will let go, the I-turn will give up, and it will actually spin 90 degrees off to one side as you dial the throttle back in. There's something to be said for how you can get around this by not completely dumping the throttle the way you might do when you're flying a 5-inch. You need to keep some power in. And it really is, out of all the testing I've done, one of the biggest key features is the weight. If you keep these super light, you tend to find that the lighter of the quads don't suffer it, of the power whoops and the Cinewhoops, and the Mobular 7 was a great example of that. It was lighter than all of them, and it was the only quad I was able to absolutely stick bang and do all kinds of crazy maneuvers with, and it never let go of its track. So that's why I'm also quite excited to see where I can go with this one.
Did you find that, when you talk about the Mobular 7, are you talking about like the V2 as well, or the V1? Because the V2, yeah, I still got the V1 and I love it. But the what was that? The trash can had the V2 duct, and that didn't fly. It did the yaw washouts. It did all the, but basically it was the same thing as the Mobular 7, except so I don't think the Mobular 7 now with its updated frame, I think it now does all that yaw washouts.
I got the V1 Mobular as well, but the trash can had bigger lipos, and it had the LED board, which wouldn't weigh much, but in the bigger motors things, it might do a little bit as different motors.
Yeah, I think were.
People are using them for not what they're meant to be used for.
See, the trash can was another interesting one. I mean, my biggest problem with that was just the hideous amount of jello that I had with it. But
same here.
It was fast as hell, and for some people, that was like turning on a light switch. A little whoop, not a Cinewhoop, sorry, a standard whoop that goes like a bat out of hell. And that again, that's another thing that some people really like, and they'll gravitate towards it. So it's great. There's this whole kind of new areas for this to go, and obviously this will develop. But I'm particularly interested in kind of the acro side of things with these in HD. I think if there's a point where you can fly great acro in HD with it, to the point where people are like, you're flying a 3-inch, and then you're actually just flying this little whoop that you can put in your pocket. That's kind of awesome. I think. But yeah,
I think it's interesting. I was thinking, because if we think about where things have come from 2 years ago, and the sort of cameras we were having, and the sort of size of quads we were having, I'm wondering if, like, a year or two from now, we'll get HD Cinewhoops, but the tech in it will have a camera with the ability to stabilize things a little bit like the GoPro 7 Black, for example. Just shrinking down and the tech getting better that way. That would be
somebody messaged on one of my videos saying that Cadecs are coming out with a 4K version.
Yeah, I heard this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of thinking, get the 1080p version working perfect first. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's probably my favorite, but there's room for improvement.
You know this as well as I do, though, Andy. That won't happen. They'll just move straight past it to the next big thing.
Well, it's really easy to put a different sensor in, isn't it? It's less easy to sort of talk about digital image stabilization and have that working better.
Exactly. Talking about fixes, there was something, because Andy alluded to this. You remember, I had this guy to review a little while ago, which is the 349 Plus by Diatone, and they went right around the houses to try and fix a problem that actually lay with Runcam, which was that they were using a lens that was basically too small, and this particular Split 2 Mini was or Micro, whichever it is, was producing a lot of jello, and they tried to fix that physically with dampeners and various bits to try and sort of float this shell to see if they could reduce the jello. But what Runcam did on the Quiet was actually take that camera and then fit a M12 lens to it, but they didn't tell people they were doing it, and they didn't call it a different version. They just kind of did it on the sly and upset a lot of people. But I did get this. This is also turned up a 3-inch quad. This is the Signet. No,
it's what's the baby swan called?
How do you pronounce it?
Signet.
Signet. There you go. That's what it's called. So if you look at can you see the lens difference? Can you see the lens difference?
That's a coincidence, because today this video I'm reviewing. They do what you've got is the standard version, and they've released the Pro version with 15 stator motors on it.
Lord. Well, this thing feels like it's going to go like a rocket anyway. But yeah, can you see the lens difference between the two? So there's the upgraded lens that they did with the M12, and then you can see the smaller lens on the Diatone.
Do you think that M12 will fit on the Diatone? Because
very just. I think it probably needs maybe a little bit of dremeling, but yeah, this I'm really
NJ loves a Dremel.
It's not the first time actually Runcam has screwed up on that. I remember getting that one of the first micro Swifts, and their initial 2.3mm lens created jello. It seemed to fit in okay and fine, but they had to replace those lenses, but only if you said, "Hey, I seem to have a problem here. What's going on?" They say, "Oh yeah, here's a replacement lens." It's like they don't talk about it or go out of their way to replace it. It's like, yeah, if you tell us you've got a problem, we'll think about replacing it for you.
Well, I mean, if you were running a business, you'd probably do the same thing, because it's going to cost you money every single time. You know, I mean, a reputable company, for example, you talked about Beta FPV, you know, putting out the statement and all of that. You know, that's the way to do it, isn't it? 100%. You know, but you're going to lose a fortune. I mean, they said that there'd been 100 cases, and did you see they had the 2 boxes of
buckets of quads that they were testing and blowing up?
Yeah, that must have cost an absolute fortune. But I was impressed with it. Although at the same time, you got to say, shouldn't that stuff be caught before it gets to that point? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But they weren't flying them hard enough, were they? That's what they found. They were flying them around and they're like, "Yeah, this looks final for us."
I think that is an issue. I think that is an issue. I don't think they have a lot of space to fly. I think they do a lot of indoor flying, a lot of car park flying, and then we've got these big fields, and we do full throttle and they explode. I think that's what it's about, maybe.
I think everyone should stop going 6S and go 3-inch 850 milliamp. I think if you got 2 of the Diatones and went racing with them, I think you'd do pretty well.
They're so rapid.
I got news for you, Tone. Not only is like 3S the like rapid, there's actually a Bynum fly coming out called the Astro X, and it's a 6S 3-inch quad. It's got 2900 kV, 1505 stator motors. And I've literally messaged them today. I've said, what battery currently exists that you would use for that? And I'm waiting for a response. But it's called the Astro X. They do a 4S version as well. But I'm really interested in that, because 3 inches. If I was racing 3 inches, what I don't understand why that everyone's not racing 3-inch.
I know. I totally agree with you. Look, they can do 107 mile an hour or whatever you tested.
112 mine.
The only thing what would be bad is if you got hit by another a 5-inch drone.
No, they'd all have to be 3 inches.
Well, that's the thing. They're not, though, are they? There's no rules saying that you have to fly 3-inch. That you can fly 2-inch, 3-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, whatever.
Tone, you'll have to remember that it's you that we're talking about. When you say if you get hit by a 5-inch, you mean the drone, not you as a pilot.
Well, if you hit me, it wouldn't be 5 inches. We all know.
I would argue, though, if you've got the skills, that you'd probably be lapping 5-inch copters. That's they're just so much faster. It's unbelievable. It's not just the top speed either. It's the acceleration. It's the acceleration and the slowing down.
Yeah, and the agility of the little thing. I know. I think someone should send me 2 so I can go and race.
One quick thing I should mention, just while it's in my mind, I was chatting with Nick Burns about this, actually, which is the subject of the Turtles, because they're coming on everything. The Turtles V2 is kind of I still think it's probably the best one in terms of those out there. I know the Foxeer mix was recently put into the picture, but it had really terrible fisheye. But there's a few out there. There's obviously the Split, but I think the Turtles V2 is good. One problem that you do get with the Turtles on some of them is you'll notice up in the top right hand corner you get these kind of lines.
Yeah.
See up in the image. Now, I was chatting to Nick about this because I thought maybe it was a sensor issue or a quality control problem, because some of them had it and some of them didn't. And there's actually on Happy Model's site, there's a link to the latest firmware, and Caddocks are claiming that can be fixed with a firmware update.
It absolutely can, because the first run cam splits had exactly the same problem, which is kind of suspect, isn't it? It's almost like maybe some reverse engineering was maybe done, because the very first split had and still does have that problem. And then when they came out with the V2, because I mentioned it, funnily enough, you don't really notice it on your computer. It's only when you upload it to YouTube and YouTube butchers the bit rate that you see it really badly. So yeah, it is a firmware thing. Yeah.
So that's good to know they've sorted that out. I will say the V2 is considerably better than the V1 anyway, in terms of especially the FPV picture. I just hated the V1. I just couldn't get on. I know that it recorded nicely, but the FPV picture was so hard to get on with.
Got a link for the firmware?
Yeah, when Davis wants a link for the firmware, and hi HBI guy.
I know it's on the Happy Model website, because Caddocks' website isn't very good.
Happy Model just makes me think of like a bad supermarket. Happy Shopper.
Think of
Happy Shopper.
Yeah, just like Happy Shopper.
I think one thing that
does your role, Tony.
I know.
One thing that does need to be improved with all of them, though, is the microphone. Do you not agree?
Oh, the microphone's horrific, but I always fly music anyway. But yeah, I know.
But with a GoPro, just a little hint to the motors, even over a track, I really just like, and I'd love to have that with these. And you can't do it; you have to cut the audio. Even so, though, I think the Cadex V2 is still the best because it's got the external microphone, hasn't it? But for me, it works the best, I think.
See, we've got that HPI guy in the chat. Hey, Rich, how you doing, man?
Yep. Hope your mum's better.
Yeah, man. Hope all's good with you.
And if she's not happy, we'll send NJ down there. Give a little solo performance.
That'll perk her up.
Yeah, personal treatment.
I think you mean up there. It's north.
Oh yeah,
north.
You're right about going north, NJ.
See, it's been halfway there anyway.
The government might keep you up there to the gene pool.
All very friendly up there. What are you talking about?
Do you listen to your own music while flying?
You get a good curry up north. Hey, who?
Do you listen to your own music whilst masturbating?
I didn't say masturbating.
Look, guys, I kept it on the subject of quads for as long as I could.
Oh no,
we got really 9 minutes. It's fine, man.
It's fine.
Just use the mirror, wouldn't you? Surely.
I would if I was him.
This is turning up to the field and just taking all the leads off the collars now. Okay, so go on, guys.
Can we do longer than an hour or not? I just
we need to do a bonus for this month
because I'm like I'm getting withdrawal from the show and I'm like I feel like
if we do more I need to get some food.
I need to talk more about Pepper and we're just not the time.
Right. Come on, let's cover the thing. Marek. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Koshiku.
What are you trying to make a sound here?
Jack
I don't know what you're.
Let's call him Marek. That'll do.
Yeah, Marek. Guys, I love your show. There's after the show there is a helpline if this show has affected you or any of the subject. I fly quads for a long time. I've never had a chance to try something else. I think about flying wing. Have you some tips or a video on how to build step by step? Oscar Lang's recently got into wings, so that's quite a good one. And
Painless.
What's the rag the nuts off bloke?
Painless is also good.
Rag the nuts off bloke is called. Oh God, I've forgotten his name now.
I don't know, but he doesn't come on the show because he goes to bed at 8 p.m.
before 8 o'clock.
And of course, Painless.
But wings are also. Painless has done lots of videos about how to get into flying, especially if you're going over from quads. But everyone should try a wing. Because wings are great and planes in general.
Here's my order of learning things in life. Ask Frank, Google, Painless. Not necessarily that order.
It made me laugh today when Jack was telling me about his job where he has to do research and he was days and days trying to get the answer, and then he asked Frank and Frank told him within 2 minutes.
No, I mentioned it to Frank. and then in 3 texts or less, got schooled.
I just sent you a link to the original document. That's all.
I need to have words with you, Frank, for tomorrow.
No. Tom Offslop in the chat said, "Good news, my girlfriend has survived the whole show and no single special last week. Well done."
Dave Story in the chat asked, "How do I get the bonus?" And I think there's probably a wink, wink, nudge, nudge because he's already got a blue spanner and everything. So I think he should know. But I think he's asking Jack anyway.
Copy. I know. I need to finish setting up my Elgato. So who knows? But there you go. There's Patreon. If you donate more, $1, you become a mod. So you can post links in the chat. And if you donate anything over $3, you get the bonus podcast. We do one a month, and we talk about all kinds of naughty things.
It's so much worse.
How 4 sneezes with Pepper equate to 1 orgasm if you're normal.
Yeah. And NJ talks about his sexual exploits when he was single and a young rock star on the road
on a private jet
with nothing but big loads. the
oh God, I'm for it.
Can someone send help? Please send help.
Oh my God, he's actually gone red.
No, I haven't. No,
don't send help from the Trading Standards Agency. Not every claim that Jack makes is entirely true.
No, could be false.
No. What about Aries Anyone tried the Project Mockingbird settings on the Whoop and /micros?
I keep hearing about this, but it's having the time to, you know.
Andy Arsey will do a video about it. Next, David's story says your washout. Is that when it dips half?
We've answered that one.
I've answered that one.
Come on, Jack.
Fruity cakes.
What's next?
Said
Any
that
more
as
questions?
well.
Can someone tell me what Project Mockingbird is? I keep hearing it, and I've been too lazy brackets or busy to really go and investigate or listen to videos about it. What is it?
I think it's a very PID focused group of people that are specifically for the whoops trying to get, and I think the one that they're alluding to is the Tiny Hawk, wasn't it? That's the one that they've been working pretty hard on and really because
flies amazing anyway, so I don't know.
It does, but I mean, Josh did quite a good video on it, if I recall, on running that on the Tiny Hawk, and he seemed to think it made a pretty huge difference in terms of putting in their profile and rates and filter settings and what have you. I think things like that are generally a pretty good idea, because obviously these, Betaflight's although the tuning envelope for that it's never been so big. It covers so many sizes of quad so well. I mean, we all think of the main kind of focal point as 5-inch. So to have a group that are saying, well, we've got all the great tools in Betaflight, but let's really focus all the filtering and everything to do with the tune down at these very popular whoop sizes, then that's an awesome thing. So I'll definitely give it a go.
Peter Marshall says Mockingbird is just a tuning guide for whoops. Worked well on the UR65.
Yeah.
I know there's because I talked to you about it, MJ. It's like a GitHub and documents dedicated to try and sort out these your washout.
Curse Slim is saying Project Mockingbird, turn up the level strength, no super rate and high normal rates. I couldn't imagine flying without a super rate. I want a curve in my stick.
Yeah, I mean, by not having the curve, because I spent a long time trying to tune my rates. So like the more linear you go, the more information you will feel in the mid stick, and that's where a lot of the really nice kind of, I think. That's like the schizo-y kind of maneuvers where he'll just do this perfect roll that's based on a trajectory of popping the throttle and letting it kind of follow that natural curve, getting a perfect 360 degree roll over that drop, over that trajectory. Think maneuvers like that is, if you've got really good mid-stick information, the heavier the curve is, the more soft it is in the middle, and you tend to have kind of like the batshit crazy super rate, which most people just go to the end of the stick for, and you've got the little adjustment which you get for your really nice smooth flying, but then in the middle with an aggressive S or an aggressive curve rather, you can't necessarily find that really nice feel and information. So that's what I try and I'm always aiming to get it that bit more linear in the middle, for that exact reason. So yeah, I do try and head towards that, but yeah, there you go. Rates.
Or you take Jack's method and take it down to like 4 steps of just full way, in the middle, the other way, and back.
These rates are mental. Hello,
They're
MC
not.
Creations.
They're not.
They are. It's like move your stick a little bit and it goes mental.
Frank can fly my rates.
Barely.
Butterfly dead, apparently. Yeah.
Really?
No?
It's been very quiet for a very long time, so I'm starting to think that is probably the case.
Yeah, but has anyone seen the new Betaflight 4, which has got the new filters on the... Oh, let's play!
Dementia!
Tony also forgot the word dementia then.
God! It's got the filters on the...
What are the filters on, Tony?
Still waiting, Tony.
Come on, Granddad.
Let's play!
You can do it.
It's got the filters on the...
I really have missed a lot in 3 weeks.
Just shout things out.
Can't
Go on, tell us what you can get for 2 halfpennies back in your day.
Someone help me. RPM filters, thanks, Eris.
Why did you help him out? Why did you help him out?
The chat helped me out.
Jim, we could have strung this out all the way to the end. What are you doing, man?
The RPM filters.
Yes, yes, they have. I haven't tried it out yet.
How do you spell RPM, Tony?
RPM.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have that wired up to a spare UART. If you've got the RPM telemetry coming from your DSC, you can then try this out and see how you get on. But I wouldn't mind trying it out. It sounds pretty cool. You can give that information back to the flight controller and have the loop make use of it. Then
are we any closer to this UART bus that Jack was going on about years ago?
UART bus?
Is that a special bus you take into town?
It's the bus that Tony rides and licks the windows.
It already exists. Are you talking about F-Port?
Good night.
Kind of, but Jack was saying that you just hook
bus
everything
where you hook
up to it.
absolutely everything to it, and it will just find it.
Oh, what? So like having an in-out, so you just go in series.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean.
You just hook everything together and it just kind of speaks
like CAN bus
itself.
car.
Yeah.
F-Port does that. F-Port does telemetry signal through one wire.
Well, that only goes between the RX and the FC, right?
Yeah, it's not the whole loop.
It's like VTX, RX, FC, your ESCs, just everything all on one circuit.
That would be amazing. Can you imagine the perfect flight controller? It's just got one big solder pad in the middle, and you just jam everywhere.
I might be able to build my own if that was the case.
The problem with that is if one of those things fail, you have to replace the entire flight controller.
Like just unsolder that one and
tape and a TV built in, isn't it?
Yeah, they did say that about 4 and 1. Is that what you said, Andy? They said that about 4 and 1.
No, I just mean so there'd still be separate boards, but you just hook them up all along one line, so you don't have to go. Oh, I need to hook up my VTX to
this pin
to this pin on the FC. You could hook up your VTX to that pin on your RX, and it will just pass along.
We're talking about in and out processing here, aren't we? They go to the out, they go to the in.
Right, that's it. Thank you for listening to Let's Drone Out. Tonight you've been joined by Andrew / Frank.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Gary RC.
Good evening, everybody.
And thank you, Jerry, for your lovely donations. Sorry we didn't give you a bigger shout out. The guys were talking about drone stuff and we didn't want to disturb them. And we're trying to keep the sound quality pretty good.
And thank you, Patreons, too.
And thank you, Patreons. We really love you guys. And hopefully we'll do a bonus pod tonight. What was that cheeky little comment, NJ?
Nothing. Carry on.
We've been joined by NJ Tech.
See you later.
My little Tony.
New host next week.
Controversial. That's all I'll say.
My little replacement host.
Oh,
really?
You're
taking over. I swear to God, if NJ leaves, then Ash is taking my place. And everyone's favourite curry kitten.
Goodbye.
I've been Bright Until I Fly. And if I don't mind, I hope I don't mess you guys up. There's Phil, who's raising charity for the PDSA. He's over on Twitch. Guys, if you can, I'll post the link. If you can go over there, say hello, tell them we sent you, raising money to help the little animals.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to go.
If that's all right. Thank you. But please go there. And good night.
Bye.
Bye.